Hey guys, and welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be taking a look and talking about this, which is the Mezco Jungle Hunter Predator 1/12 Collector's Pose Play Display figure. So I'm not going to be making the traditional style review for this video. Instead, I'm just going to be talking about this amazing piece and what I think about it, positives, negatives, should you pick it up. I'll also be doing a comparison to NECA. The reason why I'm not going to be doing this in my traditional style of review is because it's just too difficult, and I feel like it's not really doing it the justice that I want it to, so instead I'm just going to talk about it. So I think the first thing is just, wow, this thing is absolutely incredible, and I've been umming and ahhing about getting it for a while because, when you're so used to collecting one scale of figure, it really is difficult to start collecting another. So I'm just going to bring in a NECA figure to show you guys. So as you can see, this guy isn't quite there, but he isn't really that far away either. In fact, he really isn't that much shorter at all. Like, if you were to bring in just a standard NECA figure, the Predator still comes in at slightly bigger. So honestly, you could display this with your NECA Predators no problem. Honestly, I think even though it is technically 6-inch, it is borderline 7 inches because obviously the Predator is so much bigger than the average person. But let's get this NECA figure out the way for now, and we're here to talk about this guy. So first thing I want to say is the detail on this figure is so much better than I've seen in reviews and in certain promotional images. It hasn't quite got the level of detail that it should do if this is the Jungle Hunter Predator. Now, what I mean by that is, I can use the box as an example. If you look at the Jungle Hunter, you can see that on his face there's lots of really dark areas, lots of blacks especially. Unfortunately, that is quite absent on this figure. It has got a very muted colour scheme. Now, the detail is there, as you can see. It's got the freckles, it's even got the spikes or the hairs, but it just seems very toned down. And even the eyes, I'm not sure what they were going for with the eyes, but I do think, actually looking at it, you can even see a bit of red in there. So, yeah, actually, I was just about to say, I think NECA have it when it comes to the eyes, but actually, looking at this picture of the Jungle Hunter and looking at his eyes, no, I think Mezco have done a good job here. Oh, so I do apologise there, Mezco. So, as I was saying, I think the one problem, and I do emphasise the one problem because there's very few problems with it, is the blacks and the darker colours just seem to be very muted. And it's interesting because I actually watched Predators with my friend this weekend, and as you guys know, there is sort of a Predator that's very similar to the Jungle Hunter in that. And what's interesting is this Predator by Mezco seems to bear more of a resemblance to that than it does the original Jungle Hunter. And one of the main reasons, as you can see, these are held in by magnets, which is the coolest thing ever, is the mouthpiece that they've gone for can open really, really wide. Now, the thing with the original Jungle Hunter, and there's a great video on this, why, how they've messed up the Predator's mandrels over the years, is the Jungle Hunter can't really open his mouth that wide, which I actually prefer. But as the Predator films went on, they adjusted it to kind of make them really open their mouths, and unfortunately it made the sort of stretchy bits here look very rubbery and artificial. So it seems as though Mezco have gone for the more really screaming Predator, like really can get it very wide, which is not what the Jungle Hunter was like. Now, that's a very small gripe, because the sculpting here is immaculate, and so is the paint. You've got all the detail on the outside, it's nice and shiny on the inside. What I do want to say about this piece by Mezco is just how neat and tidy it is. You know, the paint on NECA figures is good, but a lot of the times it can be really sloppy. And on this Mezco piece, it's just done so well. As far as I can see, I can't see any paint bleeds at all. It really just seems to me as though it is lacking in detail in some areas. One notable area is his wrist gauntlet. Sadly, you don't really have the symbols, they've just painted it red. But, I mean, it's a small gripe, really. It's just such an amazing figure. But I think something that is really going to sell this is, of course, the light features. Now, if I just flip that on, you do have a light up plasma caster, which does come with a blast piece. Now, unfortunately, when you do have the blast piece in, it does weigh the weapon down ever so slightly, but it still looks very, very cool. And I'd say it would look a lot better in the dark. I will be doing some figure photography at the end of this video, so if you guys want to wait for that, I will try and get it in much more darker lighting. But no, that looks absolutely brilliant. Which does lead us on to... just turn that off. You see, it just pops back in, nice and simple. And what's also nice is you do also get a med kit with him that is openable, so you can recreate that in the film, and the detail is just absolutely brilliant. And it's like I say, you don't get this on a NECA figure, so, you know, this video might upset some NECA purists. I'm not trying to bash NECA, that's not what I'm doing, I'm just saying that this Predator has a lot to offer. When I feel like many people seem to have written him off just because, you know, they think, well, NECA's better, you know, but I try to convince you that actually this Predator has so much going for it that not even NECA figures do. So I'm going to put back my favourite mandrels on, because, I don't know, I love the closed mandrels. I just prefer that look. Oh yeah, and this is real netting, by the way, guys. It's actually separate from the figure, and it doesn't hinder the articulation in any way, which is just amazing. I love it so much. These skull necklaces are all individual. You hang them over the top, and they are made of string. Yes, that's right, guys. Not plastic that keeps breaking every time it gets caught on something. String. So big thank you to Mezco there. That's made it so much better. I love the detail and the paint on his armour. It's absolutely brilliant. Speaking of his armour, we'll just remove his head, which is very easy to do. And we'll bring in his biohelmet head, which is just so cool. Now, obviously, being careful of everything here. What I find is easier to do is just remove the backpack. It just slides on very easily. And then you just clip on your unmasked head. And here he is with his masked head on. And honestly, guys, I'm struggling to know which way I want to display this guy, because that is just absolutely amazing. And while we're here, you can have the mask just as is. It's held on by a magnet. That's what it looks like there. We'll just switch on the light up features. And there we go, guys. We can have him targeting. And there you are, guys. You can have him targeting and blasting. And isn't that just the coolest thing ever? honestly, I just think this is so impressive, guys. Like, if you are a fan of Predator and you love the original movie, this is a must own. This really, really is. Now, I know the mask is inaccurate. The mask is very smooth and it doesn't have this netting. That seems to be more this, which isn't accurate at all. Um, but it just looks so, so good. So I think NECA have definitely got the mask more accurate. It is supposed to be smooth. It's not supposed to have this sort of this grating to it, but it still just looks so amazing. And it's such a minor gripe, to be honest, because this is just such an awesome piece. And like I say, you come with this lovely display stand, which you can plug him into. So if you guys are worried about him standing, I am a bit annoyed with where the peg is. It would be nice to have the logo facing front. That's my only gripe with this. I mean, he stands perfectly fine, but if you want that sort of extra security, then yeah, you've got the display piece there. Like I say, I love the skull and spine that he comes with. He comes with a load of interchangeable hands as well. Some extended blades, so that's all something that you can add on to him. Comes with the open mouth, as you guys have seen, the med kit, and of course his unmasked head. What I really love are these rubbery dreadlocks. The NECA dreadlocks are very stiff and it can make moving the head a nightmare, but even, like, a lot of the time what happens is when I move the head it pops the backpack off, but with this, because the dreads are so rubbery, you've got such a good range of motion. And I'm struggling for words, guys. Like, that's honestly how amazing this is, and this hand can grab the skull, although it is a little bit difficult, I will say. And they've even included this, which I don't know if you guys remember the scene, but when he gets Billy's skull, he kind of just rubs it like that. So, like, a lot of people didn't know what this was for. Like, when does the Predator point? Like, I'm pretty sure it's for when he goes, like, sorry, I have to get the focusing on, but I mean, this is just all so incredible, guys. So, his articulation, which I'll just take a look at before I wrap up, get him off the stand. What's also very nice is he does come with this, which you can attach to your stand if you want to get him in some more dynamic poses, and it's very good, it's very strong. It doesn't feel cheap at all. So, I know this figure is expensive, but I definitely think you are getting your money's worth. I just want to put that out there. You also do get this nice little bag, which all of your accessories can go in if you so wish. Just saves having to keep getting the box back open just to get stuff. It's nice and convenient in this little bag. So that's awesome. It just shows that Mezco is a company that really does think of its customers, which is really good. And I'm not going to lie, guys, if I'm ever lucky enough to have an increased income, I think Mezco could be regulars for me, because this is honestly just incredible. I hope Mezco will make more Predators, that they'll make a City Hunter like this, they'll make a Scar Predator from AVP, an Elder Predator maybe, just something like that, because this is just phenomenal. So we'll look at his articulation. The head can move very, very freely, side to side, forward, really far back. It's got such a good range of motion. You can bring his arms out to 90 degrees. You can rotate his gauntlets. There isn't a double joint, it's just a single joint, which a lot of people were disappointed about. Personally, it doesn't bother me, because I think they've kept it looking really nice. It doesn't look very obviously a toy, so I don't blame them for that. The hands are on ball joints, so you can rotate them as well as do forward, back, or any up and down, which is very, very cool. The ab crunch articulation is there. It could be a little better, but it gets the job done. You have really good motion on the legs. However, it is a little bit hindered by the waist piece, so just be careful. There's also a really nice swivel there. You do have double joints on the knee, but like I say, just be careful with the fabric. It doesn't hinder it, but you don't want to stretch it. Unfortunately, the foot articulation is not great at all. It has a slight pivot from side to side and a rotation, but it doesn't really offer much range of motion. So when you try to get him in a more stretched out pose, you're probably going to need the assistance of the stand, to be honest. But if you just want him stood up straight, then, as I say, the figure does stand really well. So the articulation is what it needs to be. It might not be 10 out of 10 articulation. You might not have as much motion as you do with a NECA figure, but it's what it needs to be, and it gets the job done. And quite honestly, I think with the inclusion of these rubbery dreads, it's just really well done. I mean, as I said, also, you can open his wrist piece, which is a nice little addition. And yeah, it's fantastic, guys. You can also bring the legs out as well if you want to, like I say. So if you don't want to plug him into the stand, you want the Predator logo actually facing forward, he stands perfectly fine. Like, I've no worry that he's going to fall over, because he's quite solid, he's quite heavy. So there we are. I'm so impressed with this, guys. If you, like I say, if you guys are true fans of Predator, then you've got to get this figure. That's all there is to it. I know there's a lot of people slagging this off and saying, no, NECA's better. Honestly, guys, I'm someone who doesn't have the NECA Jungle Hunter yet, but I do have the Ahab, and it isn't that different. I've got to say that I think this one is better. I really do. I think, yes, you have to pay significantly more for it, but overall, what you're getting, I know the paint isn't quite as good in some areas, but that is still brilliant. It might not look screen accurate, the mask doesn't look screen accurate, but this is a great figure. If you wanted to, you could just say, well, this isn't the Jungle Hunter, it's a Predator. This is a Predator from, just the comic book or its own movie. It doesn't have to be, perfect, because it's just brilliant, and I'm still noticing bits of detail that I haven't yet noticed, like this sort of battle damage on his knee pad there, all these little scratches and textures and things that they've sculpted in. It's just brilliant, guys. So overall, I am going to give this guy a solid and well-deserved 10 out of 10. Now, as I say, I could just be being biased because I'm so excited for this thing, but I love it. I'm just going to say it. This is the coolest thing I have in my entire collection, and I would highly, highly recommend it. Gold stamp, seal of approval. You guys have to go and get it. And honestly, I hope Mezco are watching this, because you guys have done a really, really good job here. And like I say, the camera and the reviews don't do it justice, guys. When you have it in person, in hand, it's so much better. So thanks for watching this review, guys. I'm going to throw in some figure photography at the end. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and stay safe and happy wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.